Coming up on this episode of the Spiro Podcast.
You should not be spending your time doing $10 an hour jobs. You should be spending your time doing $100 per hour jobs.
Welcome to the Spiro Podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimaki and Craig Magrum.
Hi, and welcome to the Spiro Podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. Spiro is it's a software platform. It's designed to help you manage, but really also help you scale your day-to-day real estate media marketing type of business. I'm Craig Magrum, host of the podcast. Glad to have you back this week. And it's been an interesting start to this podcast. We had two very fun Realtor guests lined up to be on this episode to share with us the topic this week, which is what realtors are looking for in a media partner. Todd Kivimaki, our co-host this week. Todd, welcome back. What a morning.
Craig, we're going to get through this one. This is, but you know, this is life. This is business. This is
right.
The way things go sometimes.
Yeah. So we had a podcast last week. We missed the week before because busy season has hit. But we didn't want to miss another week this week because potentially next week we are going to miss. We're both out of the office next week. So we still wanted to have an episode for you guys. So the topic stands. We're going to still talk about what realtors look for from what we know of in a media partner and help you get into the mindset of a realtor a little bit in how they think a little bit differently than we do as media professionals. Now, that being said, the guests that we had for you, Pam Swiercz and Janelle Pfeiffer of Berkshire Hathaway, KEE Realty, in the Detroit metro area. They're in between Detroit and Monroe, Michigan. Two of my favorite people to work with. They're clients of ours, VIPs in our clientele, and just a fantastic duo of ladies, true real estate professionals. They do a lot of business, and we were going to pick their brain. So we're still going to try. What happened was just some technical issues. We're going to try and get that worked out with them so that we can still have them on, so you can hear directly from realtors on what it is that they're looking for. So with all that set up, Todd, we're not going to dive right in. Let's hit the Spiro updates first. What's going on with the software?
Yes, Craig. Hey, 60 seconds here. We'll get this thing finally launched off the ground. I know all of you are going like, hey, it seems normal, but to us, it's been a wacky recording. Spiro Updates Monday, what month is it? Tuesday, May 20th, excuse me. You will get Cycle 11. We've talked about this a lot, so I'll be brief, but it's a brand new marketing content. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be everything you all wanted. And then property analytics and many other good things. But we are excited about this, the look and the feel of many of these things. These are going to be reasons that you can reach out to your clients. So not only are these great updates and things that you'll like and they'll like, but this is going to be things you're going to put in your newsletter. This is going to be reasons to reach out to VIPs, explain the great new templates, how they can use them, the reels and the templates, explain property analytics. What are analytics? What's a referring page? So we want to give you not only new features, but then the content and the ideas of how you need to be telling those to your agents to get more bang for your buck, if you will. So that's really what we're trying to connect with the whole Sphere. What do we call that, Craig? Shane, I can't say it.
I don't remember.
The Spirosphere.
Spirosphere. Yeah. I like that.
I don't know. But that's the idea of like, not only is it a platform, but how can it power your business and how can it allow you to grow your business? It's why we do the podcast. It's why you guys catch me on Tech Talks with Todd, why we do Spiro 101, 201, and 301. So we are here for you. We are you. We understand what you do. And we appreciate all of you.
Yeah, for sure. I don't even know how to get this episode rolling in light of everything, Todd. It has been one of those mornings, like we said, but it's a topic that you, our listeners and viewers, have actually requested a couple of times, and that is, what is it that realtors are looking for in a media partner? And you know, WOW has been around 20 years this year, so we've learned a few things.
22 this year.
22?
Yes.
Dang, getting old. Getting old. Um, we've learned a few things over the years in just in talking with realtors and talking business and picking their brains on things. So ideally, yes, we wanted to talk with Pam and Janelle, and we will at some point. We're going to get this worked out because I think you'll really enjoy listening to them and hearing from them. They're just a fantastic group of ladies that I just I laugh every time I'm shooting for them because they're just that fun. But they have some really good professional insight on things as well that we know you're going to benefit from. So that being said, Todd, let's dive into this. I'm not even sure exactly how to intro this without having Pam and Janelle, but
Yeah.
you've learned a few things over the years about what realtors are looking for. So I guess let's maybe start just with what's like a realtor mindset. We'll ask the overall arching question. What is the difference between a realtor mindset and a real estate photographer mindset?
Oh, that's a good question. I, honestly, it is very, very close. I think the biggest thing about it is just the translation between the two industries.
Okay,
And what
meaning what?
what I mean by that, Craig, is let's think about the structure of business. So, you all out there at some point got the idea, was introduced, saw media online. You previously were probably a creative person or enjoyed, creating things. And it somehow got you into the idea of, is this something that I could do? Could I make money off this? Could I support my family? Could I quit my job? Could I reach my goals? Okay. Now let's take that same step. Let's take that same timeline with a real estate agent. Many real estate agents probably went through buying prior to being a real estate agent, drive around, see signs in the yard, probably bought or sold a home and go, hey, this is kind of a cool process. I like interior design. I like looking at houses. I like helping people. Meet another agent, hear about agent success stories, how agents are providing for their family, how an agent stopped doing their previous job and transitioned into real estate, now are working for themselves and to reach their goals, to feed their family, to build a team, to help people. Pretty similar, right, Craig?
Very.
The makeup's the same. You all are employed. We're all employed by ourselves. They might have people on their team. They might have 1099s. They might have W-2s. We know they have VAs because their VAs call us and they place orders, right? Okay. They have a team of people around them. So the mindset is so close. I think the biggest thing is, and just understanding a real estate agent is just what they go through day to day. And I think sometimes we feel and we see, and I see this online, is why are they so cheap? Why do they not upgrade? Why do they, why are houses never ready? Why do they reschedule? Why do they not want to pay a trip fee? Why do they not want to pay a weekend fee? Right? I mean, these are all things that's what is in their brain though. So that's what I'm talking about, the translation. Like I could go down every one of those. The reason they don't want to pay a trip fee is because they drive all over the world and it's part of their standard level of service. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't charge a trip fee, but that's why they don't want to pay a trip fee. Why do they think you should work nights and weekends? Because they work nights and weekends, all of these things are very similar.
On that one specifically, I've only ever had one realtor out and out say, I work nights and weekends. You should too, because you're serving our industry. But I think it's unsaid from a lot because we'll get texts and messages at 10 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm going to bed. What are you contacting me for?
Yes.
But so even if it's not outrightly said, that's a good one.
Yeah. Let's talk about client acquisition a little bit. I think this is probably where really the connection's the biggest, but let's understand what everybody's doing. So for you and your business, client acquisition as a real estate photographer, how many of you, by show of hands, and if you're driving, don't put your hands up, just cannot wait to go make cold calls? Okay, I didn't really have to even preface like nobody, like if you're driving, don't put your hands up, because nobody enjoys cold calls.
Even extroverts?
No, I don't think so. A cold call, I don't know, man. I think you can. I think you can develop the. I think you can develop the knack, and I think you can be driven by the output that comes from cold calling, and you can get past the no's.
But it's never actually something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah, I think of the team at Wow, Craig, like, probably Chris, like would just pound through cold calls because he's like, oh, I'm just gonna, just go through it. Like, but I still don't. I think even if we asked him, he wouldn't be like, yeah, give me a list of 1,000 people. I'm looking forward to calling them and getting rejected 95% of the time.
Right.
So that's the way we work as real estate photographers. So we have this yin and yang of business. So we have no business as a real estate photographer. When you started out, what did you do? You did the Instagram method, you emailed clients, then you realized that maybe emailing clients doesn't work. So you showed up to open houses, you called, you text, you emailed, you dropped by offices, you did marketing campaigns. Okay, there's a million different forms of client acquisition. But when you didn't have jobs, you did client acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens? The phone rings. Can you do a shoot? It's like, holy cow, this is gonna work. Like, Craig, do you remember when your phone first started ringing the first time?
Yeah, it was exciting.
Yeah,
it was real exciting.
It was like this high of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, great. What do we do now? I remember the first agent that asked me, this was 4 years in, the first agent that ordered a video from me and said, hey, by the way, can you do photos? I said, Bob, yeah, I can do photos. I'd never done a photo in my life of a real estate property. I hang up the phone. He ordered 4 videos and photos from me next week. I'm like, why did I got to figure out how to do photos now? So that I know you guys all went through that, and it's a fun time. So you get your camera gear, you get the photos, you figure out how to schedule it, you get Spiro set up, you make sure your editors or auto HDRs online, and then you go and you do the work. Okay, and you're busy. You're building relationships with clients, in the house. You're talking to homeowners. You're vacuuming the floor. You're moving pet cages. You're making lunch for people in their house.
I'm glad I wasn't taking a drink while. Off camera, guys. Todd made a comment. I was right in the middle of a drink, and I've got all this electronic equipment in front of me. I about spewed it all over. So glad I wasn't taking a drink on that one. Go ahead, Todd. Yeah. Sorry.
No, so you get busy doing the work. All right. You're tracking how many miles you drive. You're like, yeah, how many miles do you drive? Yeah, I drove 40,000 last year. Hey, I stayed up till 2 a.m. You're doing all these things. What are you not doing? You're not doing client acquisition because you're doing the work. Okay. The same thing happens with real estate agents. Now, the best, they have a very consistent flow. Okay. And I would say that's some of the product of our success at Wow is we consistently always do client acquisition. I don't think you can have a successful growing business without being focused on client acquisition.
That optimized workflow, Todd, where you get to the point where you are consistent in doing client acquisition and outreach. That's something you have to grow into, correct? Like you can't just do that as a solopreneur by yourself. At least I felt I couldn't because I was busy working in the business instead of on the business. But as you grew, then you start investing into somebody that can help you consistently do the client acquisition. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And unless you've come in and your goal was never to shoot. Like if you launched with having a photographer, I don't think there's many of us out there. Maybe I'm just not aware. I haven't talked to you, but if you've done that, great. Like if you're like, hey, I'm just going to be the business owner. I'm never going to do the shoots. I'm never going to do anything about it. That typically takes some money to start with or an investment.
Right.
And a lot of times I think many of you, all of you that I talk to out there, like we all bootstrap this, right? Like Craig, you bootstrapped yours. I bootstrapped mine. It's not like, hey, let's see if we can get 50 grand to hire two people. And so, yeah, no, I think that's pretty similar.
And for the realtor as well, they started with just themselves, but then eventually grew a team.
Exactly. And I think the parallels like that, Craig, will continue on and on and on again, because the realtors do the same thing. The realtors work really hard to do client acquisition. Their phone begins to ring. Now they're showing people houses. They're doing listing presentations. They're writing offers. They're negotiating. They're going through inspections, appraisals. They're doing all these things. Well, what are they not doing? They're not doing client acquisition. Okay, so then they get everything sold. They get to the closing table and they go, hey, I got nothing.
Nothing in the pipeline. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think we're all very, very similar.
Right. Business is business.
It is.
We might have a niche in real estate photography, but it's still business, and the processes are the same. So, okay, shifting then from, say, client acquisition, that they're eventually going to hire that out or have somebody on their team that is kind of keeping that funnel full so that when deals close, they have new deals to work. Same thing for their media and for their marketing, right? They started out probably doing it themselves. We started out doing our own media, producing our own media, but eventually, we have Tessa on our team that does our marketing pieces and does an amazing job. But originally we were doing that ourselves. Same thing, correct?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to lead that into the question then. Okay, then that leads into, how does a realtor start to invest in outside marketing and visuals for their listings?
Yeah. So they do that because they begin to value their time more. And all of you do that, and all of you should be doing that. So I talk a lot about a time tracking activity where you track your time. And then you categorize your time in 3 categories: an admin, a nurse, and a doctor. And think about when you go into a doctor's office. When you walk in the front door, is the doctor sitting there checking you in? No. Is the nurse sitting there checking you in? No. An admin is checking you in. Okay. Then you go back, you get called back. The admin walks you back, or another admin walks you back. Doctor's not like, hey, let's go do this thing. You get in the room. Who takes vitals?
Nurses.
A nurse comes in,
right,
and takes vitals. Okay, so a higher level job. And then the nurse, they do their thing. And then you get to the point to where the doctor comes in for your problem or for your checkup. How long's the doctor in the room? 4 minutes? Who's been to the dentist lately? That's the same thing. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Doctor, everything looks good. Okay, great. Okay, look, smile, bite down. Look, okay, good. Sounds good. Oh, you got a filling. You got a cavity there, need a filling. Okay, see you later. It's like he walks out and I'm like, did he even walk in?
Right.
Okay, so, but he values his time. He's in there 3 minutes, but he's not spending his time doing your cleaning. He's not spending his time checking you in, checking you out. There's people to do that. And the same happens with a realtor. The same happens with any business. Is you might find it valuable right now that you're quality controlling your photos. You should not be. That's an admin job. That's a $10 an hour job. Okay. Let's say admin's 10, a nurse is 50, a doctor's 100, just for separation. You should not be spending your time doing $10 an hour jobs. You should be spending your time doing $100 per hour jobs. And then the cool thing about this, Craig, is this continues. As you build a business, that $100 an hour job, you are on to $500 or $1,000 an hour jobs. And you bring up people that used to do the $10 an hour jobs. That's how you grow a company. That's how people get excited about being at a company. That's how people see growth and feel the fulfillment at a company. But it takes you saying no to the $10 an hour job. You know, it was a funny thing. On the way into the office, I think I say this a lot, but I listened to an individual called Darren Hardy, and it's called the Darren Daily. And he talked this morning about, as business owners, we typically look at the top level people in the industry. And he used the idea of like an Olympian. Like, think if you're an athlete, if you want to get to the Olympics, like, you know, say it's in basketball, you know, you want to get to the Olympics, NBA, whatever maybe we play a lot of basketball, so I'll stick with that analogy. You're always looking like, hey, what is Steph Curry doing? What did LeBron do? What did Michael Jordan do? Kobe do? What are they doing? What are they doing? And he argued that it's not what they're doing. It's what they're saying no to. They're saying no to some things in their diet. They're saying no to staying up because they know they have to get up early. They're saying no to $10 an hour jobs. They're saying no to $1,000 an hour jobs because they're doing the $1 million per hour jobs. And I think that's the biggest thing as a business owner. Will you say no to the $10 an hour job so that you can focus on what's going to get you along the furthest?
So let's translate this back to the realtor's mindset. And for a new agent that maybe hasn't grown into that type of mindset yet, where they're not seeing the value of investing in outsourcing some of these things, how do we as photographers help them grow into that mindset and show them the value of not doing the $10 an hour? We're worth more than $10, people. We understand that. But helping them understand that their time is better spent not doing their own photography and video.
Yeah. I think that it's always through education and building relationships. So you're going to show them the difference. Maybe you're just showing them how they could use that, or how you could use a video to get more reach on social media, how they could link the unbranded site to the unbranded property website to the MLS, how they can use their tracking code to try to retarget the unbranded page traffic. Like all these high level things. I can't tell you how many times I've walked into an office, and I'm sure you have, Craig, too, at just a Tuesday morning company meeting. And I always try to give in those meetings, I try to talk about something that is not selling them photos or video. Because I want them to I want to walk out and they go, hey, how did he know that? Like, I think I need to do that. I think I saw the top agent doing that, and he just told me how to do it, but I don't really get it. So I think I'm just going to call him. Another thing we talk about is photos. Don't be a commodity. You do not want to sell a commodity, y'all. You just don't, because it's a race to the bottom, because somebody's going to do it for $3 an hour. It's just no fun. Everybody's going to try to cut it out. You don't want to be a commodity. You need to sell on value. And that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing for real estate photographers, but that's a hard thing for real estate agents. Many of them go, oh, yeah, I'll do it. The best agent in town, they get a 3% split each side. Like, I'll do it for 2. And they feel like they need to walk in and do it for 2 to beat the agent that does it for 3. That doesn't work, because honestly, the best agents, they do it for 4, 3.5 or 4, and they sell on value. And that's the same thing we can do, is we sell on value. And your value is going to be a little bit different from when you start to when you build a team. So the value we sell at WOW, doing 13,000, we're going to do 13.5 this year. 13,500 jobs this year. The value we sell is consistency, a team around you, support when you need it, dedicated trained photographers that go through continuing ed, that have continued education and feedback. We support you. We support your events. Like all these things, this is what we sell. We sell our size. We sell the people. You have somebody, if you need something, you go to support. If you need scheduling, you go to scheduling. We have highly trained individuals in each aspect that can help you do something. Okay. If you are a solopreneur right now, you're not selling that. Okay. What you're selling is, I get to know your business. The love for creating and how I can make your listing look. That if you need something, you call me. I will take care of it. I care about you so much that I'm going to take care of these things. You have my cell phone. Probably don't do that. We all do it. I did it. It's a terrible idea. As you grow, you want to get rid of that, but we can help you get out of that idea. What to say then? But it's just a different feature and benefit as you go along and building your business.
Yeah. And people will value professionalism and knowing that they can trust you to represent them well. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about that record listing that I had that I was just over the top excited about. I walked in, it's a almost $3 million property. And what struck me immediately was how down to earth the seller was. And he just immediately said, "You're the professional. I'm going to get out of the way. You do your thing." At that level, I was talking with Jess, our operations director. I went from that shoot, Todd, no joke, back to back to a $150,000 listing where the seller felt that they needed to tell me every shot I needed to take.
Oh, yeah,
And I kind of chuckled. I didn't judge. I'm never going to make a seller feel like they're a bother, because my mindset is I'm part of that Realtors team and I need to represent them well. So even if I have to bite my tongue as a professional, I'm going to do that to represent the Realtor well. But the mindset difference that Jess pointed out to me, and I thought was really good, was somebody that is at a $3 million house level has a different mindset in that they know the person that they're hiring to sell their house is going to bring in professionals. They really don't have to worry about the nickels and dimes and pennies of a job. Now, yes, they do because they're financially successful, but they trust. Somebody in a lower financial state has to worry about every penny. And so they have a sense of, I have to have some control over this to get every penny I can out of this. And just understanding those different mindsets as a professional, I think just goes to really helping us serve our realtors well, and walking in with that professionalism and understanding the mindset of the seller. It goes beyond just photography. So that's a value that you can bring to your seller or to your realtor clients. Spit it out, Craig. I don't know exactly where I was going with that, but that's something I've been chewing on the last week or two here.
Oh, that is, I hadn't heard that situation, Craig, but that is fabulous, because I think the $3 million owner, he valued his time so much. He already spent the time he needed and his time was valuable. He was doing the 10,000 or the 100,000 per hour jobs.
Well, he literally walked back into his home office and was going back to work. He didn't have time to walk through his house and show me every little thing.
Yeah.
They hired us to take care of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He did his due diligence at the beginning of the process. That was vetting the agent and understanding, and he trusted in them. And that agent probably set proper expectations. Your best agents will say, hey, the photo and video guys are going to come in and I've used them for X amount of time. They are fabulous. They're going to do their thing. Please just stay out of their way.
Yes.
That's what they're going to say.
I love working with those agents. It makes my job so much easier.
Yeah. And that homeowner, he went, sure. Yeah. Like, honestly, you couldn't even pay me to get in your way because I'm not doing that job. I have bigger jobs to do. And I've just done my job by hiring you. That's the time I needed to spend. So I trust that everything proceeding is going to be to the level that we've set by communicating through expectations in this conversation.
I think you can almost look at it, Todd, from like a cost-benefit analysis type of situation. Okay. So say the owner of the $3 million house, he's making buku money, right? What is the lost opportunity that he has and what he can make of doing his job, his $1 million job, versus walking through to make sure that I'm doing my job? It's cost him something to do that. So it's the same thing with that. We can walk that through with our realtors that maybe aren't quite there to that mindset of what's the opportunity you're losing by shooting your own photos and having to maybe edit those, it's costing you money. You're leaving money on the table, and we want to help you not leave money on the table. We want to get you to the $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 house level as a newer agent and help you grow your business. It's all about the business.
Yeah. And when you have those conversations, I know we've had many over the years, Craig, those agents go, oh, like I never thought of that. Like that is the thing. I can think of a story from Steve, and this was of a local agent here in Lima. We had an agent show up at the office one day, and I mean, the office, we're out in the middle of a cornfield. We truly are. Those of you that have been to my office, like we're literally in the middle of a cornfield. Like my neighbor, like we have neighbors, but they're farther away. Well, my in-laws live next door, so that'll tell you a little something about Ohio.
Ohio.
And so we have somebody walk.
I have a West Virginia story about Ohio and how they pronounce our state name. I'll save that for a different podcast. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. So we hear the door chime go off, and we have a chime that goes off when someone comes in, and it's always like, hey, it's probably someone here. This was like an off day when not many people were in the office. It's like, who's here? Typically it's the post, it's the mail lady showing up and she's got something, but it wasn't around that time. And like some people typically walk in, we have a big building. And so people wander around, like it's fun to see. It's terrible, but like people walk in and we have a kitchen and a boardroom, and then we have like an entryway, and you might not see anybody for 50 feet of the office. You're like snaking your way back in, and typically people are like, hello. And so that hello comes like, okay, somebody's in here that clearly we don't know who they are and they're looking for us, or they're looking for WOW Internet. Craig, I can't say how many people, you guys know, do you have WOW Internet in your area? We had a guy coming in, he's like, you guys sell the interweb? Like
the interweb. No,
we don't have the interweb here. This is not the interweb.
Do you have the Google?
The Google.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, sorry, I'm just taking forever on this story, y'all, but it has a point. Realtor shows up. He's like 19 years old, brand new realtor at one of our local companies. And he's just got like this gusto. And he's like, hey, I'm calling like expired listings. I'm calling for sale by owners. Like he is there ready to make his business happen. And he comes in, he's like, hey, I'm trying to get this one on the lake. The lake's about 45 minutes away from here, and it's $1 million+ listing. And kind of thinking like, okay, you've had no listings, you haven't sold a house, but let's just let's sell the $1 million+ house on the lake. Why not? It sounds like a great place to start.
I mean, you got to admire the tenacity and the confidence.
I love it. It's fabulous. Like, why I'm not going to sell the 200. Give me the $1 million house. That's like a 5X. And so Steve was like, all right, yeah, like this is great. Like, one, we're honored that you walked in and asked us, like, how can you be different in this listing presentation? Because he doesn't look like he's ever done it before. He hasn't done it before. I mean, he's a nice looking kid. He speaks well, but he's 19 years old. And so Steve prints off some of our brochures, gives some of our information, sends him some video links of some things that we've done in the past for the company he's at, and has him all prepped to go get this listing. And so he went in and he gave this spiel, sold the media, and like they took him up on it, which was incredible. It was like, that's crazy. So when you can become a source of knowledge to your realtors, and that was a referral, by the way, I just want to point that out. Like the broker at his company said, oh, why don't you go see Steve over at WOW? Like, hey, they're just go by the building. And he's like, sure, I'll do it. He walks in. So when you build those relationships, your clients will refer you. And if you are the source of knowledge, who's not looking for more knowledge, right?
Right.
That's why you guys are on this podcast, because we're not that entertaining. The jokes aren't great. Like, you're trying to look for the ways we've screwed up over the years so you don't do it. We're all looking for knowledge. So when you can put that to use, and when you understand what to say no to, and when you can be that source of knowledge for your agents, then they will be like, hey, you need to talk to Craig. Craig knows this thing about social media. I don't know what it is, but he was talking about it. It seemed like it was really cool. You should call him and have that done for your new listing.
Yeah, I mean, what a story. And it's all about mindset and understanding the realtor's mindset. There's so much more we could go into, Todd, but honestly, we want to save a lot of this content for when we can actually get Pam and Janelle back on,
Right.
and pick their brains on this. So we don't want it to steal all the content, because we really want you to hear it from a realtor's mouth and experience. So with that, I think that's a good starting point for this topic, and we'll do a part 2 on this as soon as we can get that time scheduled with Pam and Janelle. But let that be a starting point for you. If I love working with new clients, like new realtors, Todd, because I want to see them grow and succeed, because I feel good about what I'm doing then in my role, in that I'm truly serving somebody and helping them get some wins. And for me, that's a win. It's not about all the money, because if I'm shooting, say, a $70,000 house, they're going to start small. Their invoice is not going to be that big. I'm not making a ton of money on that, but the satisfaction of seeing them be wowed, and that's part of why we're called Wow Video Tours, by the media that we're giving them, that they can deliver their seller, and the seller is wowed. It makes them feel good. They want to get the next listing. They can use that that shoot to show their next potential seller and client, and help see them grow and succeed and be a part of that. That's just part of what I love to do in this. And I'm sure it's the same for our listeners, but going in with that attitude, when you're working with a new client, a new realtor, and really communicating how much you love what you do, that actually gets a lot of traction, because people want to work with people that love what they do. So just let that shine through, and understand that your mindset is actually very similar to the realtor's mindset in terms of business. If you can understand it as, business partners, it's going to do nothing but good things for you. So I think that's a good place to wrap up, Todd.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff in here. Just try to take one nugget away from it, understand your client a little bit more, connect with them, and you'll be surprised how similar they are to you, like Craig said.
Yep. Good deal. All right. Well, we are going to be off next week, but we will get back to this ASAP. We know it's busy season for many of you as well. So thank you so much for the time that you do take out. As we've said countless times, we appreciate that. We know you're busy. You're an owner. You've got a lot on your plate, but the fact that you take the time to listen or watch is not lost on us. And we appreciate your time, because we know it's valuable. So
yeah, Craig, before you wrap, if you're looking for content in the off week, we had an incredible tech talk with Todd yesterday. That would have been May 8th on Spiro Super User Facebook group. We covered some really great topics there, some questions. We had a nice group in there, a nice size of a group, and went over a lot of business items. So if you're looking for some content, go back and see if you can't play that again. There was some really good business building conversations in that.
Awesome. I might have to watch that. All right. Well, you guys, thank you again so much. Make sure you take some time to be thankful for the blessings in your life, and be sure to take a breath. Have a great week.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro Podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and Wow Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.